Good, you're back. I'm Neom, and today's episode is about the Kentucky meat shower. Special thank you to Tristan Mills for submitting the idea for this episode. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider leaving me a like. Let's get into it. In 1876, Mary Crouch of Bath County, Kentucky, was performing a task that was probably pretty characteristic of someone who lived in Bath County, making soap. A good thing, too, because little did she know, she was about to have a shower. So there she was, making the soap, and right when she was mixing in the soap ore, I don't know, I've never made soap, mysterious bits of fleshy red, flesh began to precipitate down from the firmament. Her first reaction was probably to read the warning label on whatever chemicals she was using and punch in the number for the nearest toxicologist, or witch doctor, or whatever they had back then. But after close examination, she was forced to rule out hallucination. She never specified how long the shower lasted, but the circumference was most of the area around her house, some of it even getting caught in her fence. Once she decided it was real and that her sanity was intact, she did what any sane person would do. She invited all the neighbors over, threw the meat on the grill, and they all had a feast. I'm just kidding. They didn't cook it. But a couple of her neighbors really did grit their teeth and masticate a slice or two. According to them, it tasted like venison or mutton, but my question is, why would they know what raw and, at that point, day-old sky sheep tasted like? It's also worth noting that it seems that they had a little bit of a priority issue if the first question they were asking was one of flavor. Interesting. So it just happened out of nowhere, you say? Peculiar. I wonder, are you okay? Yeah, I would have thought that figuring out the source of the meat would have been the first item on the menu, but apparently they were just in the mood for some fondue. Get it? Because fondue meat, dew, rain. Anyway, eventually, the masses did start to investigate the cause behind the chow chow, and samples were sent to scientists around the country, one of which still exists and is on display at Ripley's Believe It or Not. It wasn't unheard of for tadpoles, snails, and other small aquatic life to be swept up in a hurricane and rained down when the winds died. But this wasn't near the coast, and it hadn't stormed recently or even been particularly cloudy. One theory was that it hadn't fallen from the sky at all, but that it was in fact nostoc, a type of colony-forming bacteria, also sometimes called star jelly or witch's butter, that swells up in size and becomes gelatinous when wet. Another theory was that the Weather Girls had just released their hit single, It's Raining Meat. Other scientists were still discussing what kind of meat it was, and one Dr. Edwards said that it was most likely horse. Or human. But hey, this was back when people thought cigarettes were good for you, so who was he to say? Eventually, Dr. L.D. Castenbein gave what is probably the most logical answer we can hope for. Despite the speculations of others, what looked like the 11th plague of Egypt was most likely vulture vomit. Vultures have the ability to disgorge at will in order to make themselves lighter for flight, so it's not unreasonable to suppose that a committee of vultures had found a big lovely horse carcass to munch on, and upon taking off realized that they had eaten too much, and simultaneously activated their inner ipecac over some poor old lady's house while she was making soap. However, this explanation isn't necessarily watertight, and it's possible that the mystery remains unsolved. Let me know your theories in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Subscribe for more content, ring the bell to be notified about new videos, and comment what you want to learn about next. I'm Neom, and I'll see you next time.